Hi, I'm Katie Sky and welcome to my channel and welcome to the island of Scuttle. This is the museum build that we did last week and this is the area that we're going to work on today. It is the last area and it is rather large and in charge. You know, we have some more holes in the ground that we got to take care of, and I also need to do an entire rock garden, which you can see I've kind of started to set up right here. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course, to get started, we're going to start with terraforming. I'm going to make a little cliff here that we can put some trees on and then maybe do some waterfalls. So I decided to start on this end of the build because I didn't want to start with the rock garden because rock gardens are notoriously very difficult to do, especially if you don't have every tile covered. So I was like, let's cover as many of the tiles as I can before I even attempt to do the rock garden. And we're gonna ignore Cranston because he's not leaving when I just built him a cool dinosaur house. Come on, my dude. Not cool. Anyway, so I wanted to do the rock garden as close to last as I possibly could because I knew it was going to be very dramatic and hard to do, and it was going to irritate the ever-loving crap out of me because they always manage to find like random little pockets that they can slip into and not the clearly marked area that they're supposed to put themselves into. So that's kind of the reasoning behind why I started over here instead of down there, as I'm being stalked by Cranston because he wants to leave so badly. These villagers, no respect for the decorations that I've put up for them. So rude. And if you can believe it, this is the final build of the island. Like, after this, Pirate Island of Scuttle, check. She's done. You know, next week you'll be getting the tour. Absolutely bananas. This island went by pretty quickly for me. It really did not feel as long as Pinecone felt to me. And I did just look it up and they're gonna end up being the same exact video length long. So I don't know why this island felt like it went by so quickly, but it did. The end is here. And then we'll be moving on to the island tour and then onto the fall islands, which, as I'm sure you are aware by now, fall is my favorite time of year. So I do like to do a fall island or 3 every year. So I am looking forward to that, and I hope you will stick around for that as well. Now I've moved on to the kind of lower area, and this is where eventually there's going to be waterfalls going down to the first level, but I need to do some other work first before I get to that point. Then I'm gonna run over here to the right side of the museum and I'm gonna start terraforming here. And I didn't know what I wanted to do here for a really long time, but after going on Pinterest and really thinking about it, I decided that I'm gonna put a little memorial up here. It's super close to the museum, which is like the little temple of the island, and so I thought it would kind of make sense here. You know, maybe these are the pirates that came to this island first, and maybe they didn't make it. Maybe they had scurvy, I don't know. And so they were buried up here because they respect their dead, I suppose. And maybe because they weren't at sea, they couldn't do a sea burial, you know? So that's kind of what this is. Nothing too specific, right? And I didn't want to make it like a super obvious memorial, which is why I'm calling it a memorial and not a cemetery. Because although there are people buried there, they're not necessarily in a cemetery. Or I shouldn't say they're not in a cemetery. I should say that they're not in like an official cemetery like we would kind of view them now in today's time. But before we start decorating on top of that cliff, I just want to work on this little path a little bit that's going to lead from the temple build over to the memorial and then to Bella's house. That's the one villager we haven't placed yet. And this will also connect to where Skull Lake is and to where the rock garden is. So it's a very important path. It connects a lot of the areas. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. I got bored in the middle of doing this voiceover, and so I just stopped recording it for a while, and by a while I mean like 4 days. So if I repeat myself in the rest of this video from what I've already said, I do apologize. But we are just working on this path that was very wiggly, and I did have to redo several areas of it several times to make it connect to where I needed it to connect without it looking real weird. One of the reasons why I kind of stopped this voiceover in the middle of it, which I do not normally do, because normally if I stop something in the middle, I will forget about it for approximately 3 to 8 business months. So I don't generally like to stop in the middle, but I'm in a really busy time of the year for me. Over the next 3 months, I have a book signing or book convention every single month, and these take a lot of planning and preparation for authors. I'm sure for the people creating them it's a lot more effort, but like I've been so busy. So I just had a virtual one, like literally yesterday IRL, and today I have a panel that I'm on for this particular con, which yesterday was really fun. I did not know that I was going to be the very first person going live, because that's how you do a virtual one, is you're going live, and people are like able to watch it, right? So I'm basically talking to myself into like a comment section, kind of like streamers do. So I guess it was good practice for if I ever decide to do streaming, which I would like to try to do. But I did not find out until literally the day of that I was the very first person. And I was like, well, if I had known that, I would not have chosen this time, because originally there were like 3 or 4 people in front of me. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to watch what they do in theirs so I can kind of mimic that a little bit, because I've never done anything like this. So I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about. And then everybody either changed their times or they pulled out. And so I ended up being the first one. And I was like, well, guess I'm just going to wing it. And I was so nervous that I was talking super, super fast, which happens when I'm nervous and publicly speaking. I don't do it so much in my YouTube videos because I don't know, it doesn't feel the same because there's not like people like actively watching me talk. But I was talking so fast and I kept telling myself in my brain, like, slow down, you're gonna use up all of your words in no amount of time. And so I did what I was like talking about my books, and I was like, okay, I can just space that out, and that can take like 45 minutes, an hour even, if I'm really diligent about how I talk. And I'm not gonna lie, within like 25 minutes of starting, I was through all of my books, and I was like, well, shit, I was talking way too fast. So, you know, it went well, I think. Actually, one of the people that was in the live, the signing, whatever you want to call it, she actually is from the town that I live in, and I thought that was kind of cool. And so, you know, it was fun, but it was very nerve-wracking, especially because like In a regular signing where you're there in person and you're at a table, people just like, they walk by and then sometimes they'll stop to chit chat, or, you know, they'll come specifically to buy your books, or they'll see something on your table that grabs their attention. But it doesn't feel the same when you're doing a live and all of those people are there to hear you specifically talk about it. It's not just like happenstance, or, you know, it's also just like one or two people at a time, not like 15, 20, however many were there, I'm not sure, you know, that many people like watching you. And so thank goodness for the owner, the creator, because she was in there, and she helped a couple of times when I flubbed my words and I could not think of what I was trying to say, because yesterday was unfortunately not a good word day for me, and I think it's just because I've been so stressed that it's just like my words were escaping me, which is not a good thing to have when you're talking to many people. Anyway, so I'm in the middle of that. Plus, I'm filming a couple of other Animal Crossing islands right now for you guys that you're going to be seeing very soon, or you've just started seeing. I believe you've already seen, yeah, I've already started the Broomstick Fall Friendsgiving Island Challenge. So I've been posting those videos on Mondays. So if you have missed them, go ahead and check them out. And then there's also another island that I'm filming a lot for right now that you're not going to see for like a few more weeks, I think. So I definitely have a lot going on, you know, for YouTube and Animal Crossing stuff. And then, you know, I have this con that I'm doing literally right now. And I also have another one in 3 weeks. It's going to be the first week of October that I go to that. And I'm a little bit stressed because that's a really big one. Like, there's going to be, I think they've sold like almost 2,000 tickets. Like, that's a lot of people, which means that's a lot of prep that you have to do. Which, like, have I been confirmed at this convention for well over a year? Maybe. Am I still scrambling to do things at the last minute? Yes, I am, because I have ADHD and I have time blindness. So I, of course, left everything to the last minute, and now I am scrambling and trying to get everything situated. And I keep saying yes to doing things that I probably shouldn't. But it's just everything that all these fellow authors are like, oh, we should do this. And I'm like, oh my God, that sounds like so much fun. Yes, let's do that. Do I have time for that with, you know, writing, YouTube, all these other cons I'm doing, and the fact that I just started a new job? Not really, but has that stopped me? No. And I feel like my family is getting ready to strangle me because I'm stressing out so much. And they're like, well, stop saying yes. Which, okay, valid. But I have this weird fear in my mind, in like the back of my mind, where I'm like, if I say no to something, then first of all, I feel like I've let somebody down, right? And second of all, I feel like I'm missing out on an opportunity that could be really good for, you know, my career, or for networking, or for making, you know, a new author friend, or, you know, finding a new community. And it's just like, I do need to learn my limits and stick to them no matter how cool the opportunity does sound, or I need to learn how to let go of some things if I want to do a new opportunity. And that might sound super easy for you, who is not in my head, but it's very difficult for me. And I don't know, it's something I definitely need to work on. Anyway, now that I've rambled at you for who knows how long about how stressed I am about all of these commitments I chose to make, let's get back to what we're actually here for, which is the Animal Crossing Island build. And right now we're putting up my favorite fence at the moment, which is the spiky fence, and fixing some of the cliffing that was just shaped kind of weird, and working on the armory for for the island, which is what Bella's house kind of is built around, is like she's the keeper of the weapons. Because, you know, they are pirates. They do have enemies for all of their pillaging and scavenging of, you know, gold and treasure. So they do need to be able to protect that. Okay, so I didn't make you watch me struggle trying to get this rock garden together. But here are all of the rocks in their position. This wasn't actually the original positioning they were going to be in. But the rocks do what the rocks want to do. And I'm just glad that I got them into a relative circle oval situation. And now we're just going to start on the actual area. And then I wanted to put a tree up here, so I had to build that out a bit. And this island. After the rock garden in Bella's area, Armory, it's done. Like, I have a few like little odds and ends that I need to do. Plus I need to make my flag because I haven't made that yet because I put it off to the last minute. But besides that, you know, the island is pretty much done, and we'll have the tour next week. Did I say that weird? Tour? Why does that sound weird? Anyways, so this is the idea I came up with for the rock garden, is I wanted it to be like literally in the water. And I wish I could have found a better place on the island for it, because it's kind of hard to see unless you're in like a very specific spot. And now I'm just connecting all of the waterfalls from this upper area down to where the rock garden is. And again, I don't know why I overcomplicated this, because you literally, like, it's on the side. You can't really see it, but I still wanted to do it. I guess if you tilt your camera, you can see it. And then this corner was giving me issues because I wanted to be able to have both corners rounded, and that's literally not possible in this game. Anyway, what island are you working on? Are you working on an island right now? Are you doing the Friendsgiving challenge? Or there was another fall challenge, I'm pretty sure, going on. I think I saw Crispy Crafts doing that one as well. But are you doing a fall island? Are you still working on your summer island? Are you taking a break right now because maybe you have a lot going on like I do and you're smarter and decided to take a break because maybe you know your limits? I'm just curious. What's going on in your life now that I've like dumped all of my stress onto you in form of YouTube video? Before I forget though, one other thing, as I decorate this very last little small area, I am working on putting all of the pine cone videos together to make one like long video. So I'm going to do that, I think, for most of my islands. So I'll also do that for Scuttle once it's done. I just don't know when those videos are going to be out in the world because it's a lot of video, and I already have tons of videos coming out in the next several weeks. So I might not be getting those out until closer to like November. But just know I am working on them because I love watching like the full series. Kaylee Games does that a lot. I think she just actually did her No Nintendo Online video, and it's like 20 hours long for that entire series. So I'm definitely going to do that just because I enjoy doing them. Or I should say, I enjoy watching them. I'm sure that I'm not going to enjoy doing them. And then Bella sat down exactly where I needed to go. And I was like, okay, girl, I guess I'll just go over this way. These villagers, man, they have no respect for the effort that I put in for them. And then I did spot this hole up here. I guess I took a tree from here, and I don't actually remember doing that, so I put one back. I have no recollection of doing that, but I must have at some point. because there's a literal hole. And then I went back up to the armory to actually, you know, arm it. So for the armory, I really did like the bow and arrows, the swords, and like the fireworks. That was kind of like the most weapony thing that I could find in this game. And then I put some of the barrels down to be kind of like, oh, it's like where they stored the gunpowder. Or, oh, I probably could have put a couple cannons down there as well. And then the cannons could have used that gunpowder. I'm pretty sure that's how cannons work. I don't actually know how most weapons work. I know knives and swords, you go stabby stabby. And, you know, guns, you go pew pew. I do know gun safety. My brother has made sure that I'm very aware of gun safety. I don't really know anything about fireworks except that they're pretty and that they're very loud on my street during the 4th of July, and literally any holiday ever is just very loud over here. So with my limited knowledge, I mean, it's really not limited. I am an author that writes in fantasy a lot, so I kind of know my way around, you know, dangerous things fictionally, of course. We won't talk about what my characters do with swords, though. But we are done. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and make sure that you stay tuned for all the fun things we have going on the channel. And I hope that I will get to see you in the next one. Bye!